In Svalbard, it is possible to board a ship and take a trip back in time and visit a town frozen in the era of the old Soviet Union. The town is Pyramiden, a former Russian coal mining town that was abandoned in 1998 and is now a ghost town, attracting tourists. It took 3 hours of sailing to reach Pyramiden near the end of Fjord. Pyramiden was named by the Swedes after the pyramid-shaped mountain behind the town.
Due to the Spitsbergen Treaty, Svalbard is under Norwegian sovereignty.
Unfortunately, the Norwegians have tried to discourage visits due to their anti-Russian sentiment that followed the special military operation in the Ukraine. After 3 hours sailing up Fjorden, we docked at the old wooden coal wharf, where we were met by a Russian guide who carried a gun in case of polar bears. From the wharf, we could see the large Nordensky Old Glacier across the fjord. There was an Arctic Kugel Mi-8 helicopter from Barentsburg at the heliport.
Halfway up the Pyramiden mountain is a Russian sign outlined in rock saying Mir, or peace, while the mineworks higher up dominate the town site. The barracks didn't have their own kitchen, and instead the food was gotten from the impressive canteen building. The dining hall in the canteen has a wonderful mosaic showing an Arctic scene with a Norse god. The large kitchen area was full of big cooking appliances. The peeling paint on the ceiling reminded visitors of the fleeting nature of time. In 1936, the Soviets acquired the rights to use the coal fields at Pyramiden and Barentsburg. Trust Arctic Kugel, the state-run coal company, assumed ownership of both Pyramiden and Barentsburg and has run operations there since that time. At 79 degrees north, Pyramiden has the northernmost bust of Lenin that gazes out forlornly. The cultural palace featured a library, a weightlifting room, a basketball court, and a large auditorium with rows of cushy red seats, where performances took place and movies were shown. The projector booth has old rolls of film spread over the floor like a pot of spilled spaghetti. Surprisingly, one of the films was Spartacus, the 1960 American epic historic drama about a slave revolt against the power of Rome. Obviously, the Soviets were not worried about inspiring their own revolt.
In 1996, tragedy descended on Pyramiden when an Arctic Kugel charter flight from Moscow crashed near Longyearbyen, and all 141 passengers on board heading to Pyramiden were killed. Shortly after the crash, Arctic Kugel began discussing shuttering Pyramiden, and in 1998 the decision was finalized and the last coal was extracted from the mine, and Pyramiden abandoned. Departing Pyramiden, we sailed across the fjord to the impressive Nordensky Old Glacier, which is some 25 kilometers long and 11 kilometers wide at its terminus. Arriving at the glacier, we scanned across its terminus for wildlife. Surprisingly, high up on the rocky Nunatak in the middle of the glacier's terminus, there was a mother polar bear with her cub. We watched the pair for a while and could see the mom nursing her cub. It was a rainy day, so wet clothes were the order of the day. Leaving the silt-laden glacial waters, we made a 3-hour boat trip back to Longyearbyen. Arriving back in Longyearbyen, there was now a cruise ship in port. We'd see this ship later in Greenland. Back in the hostel, it took a while to dry out my clothes. If you enjoyed this film, please subscribe and like. There are many more similar films available on my channel.